Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you could.
Good morning! Hip hip hooray! You are officially on day 2. Heh 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 heh. You're officially on day 2. Heh 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 heh. You're officially on day 2. DTDT live. Yes. Build the empire. The whole thing. Yes. The real question is, who brought a machete? Yes. Now, what I know for sure is that we're here to get started and build something big. Why would we waste time building something little when we can build something big? It just don't make no sense. So we're gonna jam just for a moment. I want you to think through. I want you to think through where you are. I want you to think through what you want. I want you to walk through with me. What is it that you want to build? What the hell do you want to build? Now, really quickly, as you're thinking to yourself, well, what do I want to build and how do I want to build it? I want to put in front of you these words, and I don't want to lose these words. The words are, let's build something that will last. I want you to build something that will last. Build something that will last. 5 words. What I know for sure is that you and I have an opportunity to do something amazing, simply because we can. There is so much deliciousness inside of just our willingness. But before I go any further, and before we do anything else, and before I walk through, I want to take a moment. Let me sit inside of this beat.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
Why is it that I'm moving? Because fear hates movement. Before we even do anything else, before I even walk you through anything else that's possible, it's simple. Fear hates movement. And in order to build something big, in order to build something that'll last, we have to move.
Cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase them? Face it, I don't give up quick, I don't give up shit, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise.
Okay. I wonder if someone could text it to me. Okay. So, what are we doing on day 2? We're building something awesome. Yes, it has started. And if you have user error on your side, then just hit refresh. Just refresh your page. 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 Okay, so how you doing this morning? How are you doing this morning? How are you doing? How are you feeling? All right, one word to describe how you're feeling. One word to describe how you're feeling. One word to describe where you are. One word to describe where you are. One word to describe where you are. Sometimes knowing where we are and understanding what we want at the same time and being present in our good, our bad, and our ugly is everything. If I could have the link to this would be awesome. Okay. You're amazing. Where are you? One of the toughest parts about getting moving forward is that we say to ourselves, well, I actually don't know where I am. Or you know what, if it's not, I don't know where I am, it's I don't really want to look at where I am. I don't want to look at where I am because it's frustrating. I don't want to look at where I am because it's overwhelming. I don't want to look at where I am because I just feel like where I am is not where I want to be. So I'd rather ignore where I am so that way I could just focus on where I want to be. But the truth of the matter is that a negative times a positive will never equal a positive. It will always equal a negative. So because that's true, without the exploration and the willingness to own where we are or where we've kept ourselves, without those two things, it is damn near impossible for us to actually fully build our own bridge to where we want to be. It is really impossible. It's tough to build a map to where we want to be. It is tough to build a map to where we want to be. What does your empire even look like? As you explore the possibility of a second day and you explore the possibility of you building something that will last, what does your empire even look like? Do you know? Have you ever taken the time, really and honestly, have you taken the time to actually get pen and paper and build yourself, your own empire? Or do you just say, man, one day, hopefully, possibly, at some point, I'm going to get to such and such and such and such, and fingers crossed this day will come, and maybe sort of, kind of, if it does come, I'm going to be here and ready and excited and thinking about the possibility. But how can we get to where we want to get to without building a roadmap to get there? How do you get to where you want to get to without building a roadmap to get there? We spend so much time thinking about, worrying about, spending time on things that actually don't matter. They're irrelevant. In the small scheme of things and in the big scheme of things, they're literally irrelevant. The best part about them being irrelevant is that we have nothing to blame but ourselves. When we keep trying to make moves, we don't get there. But we don't get there because we're not really stepping on anything. What we're really doing is we're just running around in circles. We're running around in circles. We're wasting money, gas, and time. And then we're asking ourselves, well, why didn't it happen for me? Really quickly in the chat, if you can just tell me what city, country, state you're in. What city, country, state you're in. If you don't know how you landed here, let me just tell you what you're about to take a part of. This is DTDT Live. We've decided every day at the beginning of our day, instead of keeping it in this closed room with all of the participants, we've decided that the very first part of every single day is going to be given to the world, in which we take 90 minutes and teach. We're going to give and lay out the roadmap for you to take whatever it is you want to do and get to wherever it is you want to get to. The truth of the matter, though, is that it's 90 whole minutes, but I don't watch that kind of thing on YouTube. Well, then that's pretty bad, because you want the answer, right? You know, Chantel, good morning. Kate Panning, good morning. California, good morning. Jackie, good morning. Michelle McCreary, good morning. I want you to put the word empire in the chat, and I want you to write the word empire down right now. I'm sending out a quick note real quick. Empire. Building an empire is not for, it is not for the rich. It is not for people of certain race. It is not for people of certain ages. It is not for people who are right in between 27 and 41. It is not for anybody in a limited space. Building an empire, building your own empires for everybody. The question is, how do you do it? There's a couple of things that I want you to think through as you entertain what it means to build an empire, but more importantly, what it means to build your empire. There's a couple of principles that will be true forever, and this will never change. Number one, you cannot do the whole thing on your own. Number two, you have to use some tools. Number three, you have to use resources. Number four, you need other people. There is this truth around our willingness to own the fact that we are sometimes right where we want to be simply because we don't know how to get out of where we want to be, or we're operating from a place of just being weak. My simple statement to you right now is stop operating from a place of being weak. Life is too short for you to operate from a place of being weak. You have everything you could ever need and want to be strong. The question is that, are you willing to tap into the resources that you have right now in front of you so that you can make that strength a reality? Nothing frustrates me more than watching amazing people with stupid awesome talent. They only get so far here because they have this consistency, and their consistency is in settling. They're like, oh, I need to get consistent in my social media. I need to get consistent in my sales and marketing. No, but you're consistent in settling. If you're consistent in settling, why is it so hard for you? Like, in all fairness, why is it so hard for you to be consistent when it comes to your sales or your marketing or yourself in just getting strong? You find a way to be consistent in tolerating other people's insecurities. Man, if you've found a way to get consistent in tolerating other people's insecurities, then why is it so hard for you to be consistent when it comes to your sales, your marketing, your physical game, your mental game? What I want for you more than anything, like you see me doing this, and it's like, because this is my happy dance, right? Now, some of the things that we have to do in becoming consistent, some of the things that when it comes to fighting for yourself, they literally force you to do things that make you look awkward to other people. So because we're spending so much time managing the insecurities of other people versus us taking the time to just DTDT, to just do the damn thing, we lose ourselves, we lose our opportunities. Let me tell you something about opportunity. Before we even get to talking about an empire, let me tell you about opportunity. So opportunity, what it does, it's really good. Opportunity comes and it knocks on our door and it says, hey, Mike, I'm here. And Mike is like, oh my gosh. Well, oh my gosh. Opportunity, you're here. I have been waiting. I have been waiting for you. I have been praying. I am fasting and tithing, and I am headed to this place and that place, and I am I am almost ready opportunity. I'm actually not ready because I got to do this thing over here and I got to get ready. And the room that I want to meet you in is not quite right. And you know what, opportunity? Oh, you know, such and such is called. I got to get back to blah, 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 blah. I'm not even wearing the kind of clothes that I want to be wearing when I get ready for you. And opportunity is like, wait, what? I thought I heard you calling out into the universe, praying, asking for all this type of hoo-ha. And lo and behold, I came through in these mother flipping streets. I came through. I am here. Opportunities like, I am here. And then you're like, yeah, but I'm not ready, but I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready. So then what happens is that opportunity is like, oh, okay. Well, I can come back in a couple of months. I can come back maybe, I don't know, 4, maybe 5, 6 months. I'll come back. And then opportunity says, oh, well, I'll come back in 6 months and you'll be ready then? Yeah, I'll totally be ready then. I'm going to get myself together. I'm going to get my mind right. I'm going to get in the right people. I'm going to be wearing the clothes that I want. I'm going to be such and such and such. And before you know it, opportunity comes back again in 6 months. And guess what happens? You are sitting there and saying, oh, is it really June 7th already? Doggone it. It is June 7th already. And I thought for sure that I had a little bit more time. You know, I know I should have spent the last 6 months getting ready, but you just don't understand what happened. We had a family emergency, such and such cheated on me, and then before we know it, you are sitting in a sea. You are sitting in a sea of excuses. And the truth is that you're consistent in the excuses, the tolerations, and all of the things that prevent you from getting to where you need to be. Let me tell you about how opportunity works, because this is a really important statement, and I don't want you to miss this, and I don't want you to turn away. Because this right here is the opportunity. If you've gotten this far, it's because the opportunity is right here, back again in front of you, and using me to get to you. Opportunity comes, knocks on your door, you weren't ready again, 6 months in the making, and then you're like, listen, opportunity, I promise, just give me 30 more days, give me 30 days, just give me 30 days, and I promise you, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to have all my shit together. I'm going to have the right clothes. I'm going to be in the right place. I'm going to get this organized. I'm going to clean this out. I'm going to get rid of him. I'm going to get rid of her. I'm going to stop tolerating. I'm going to own up to my children. I'm going to take advantage of my health. I'm going to get things ready and right. And guess what happens? Opportunity is like, well, okay. I mean, you said that you would be ready. I think earlier this year, it was 6 months ago, and you said, and then you're like, just give me 30 days. Let me tell you what happens. Opportunity leaves, and opportunity is like, well, you know what? I really went to Mike 2, 3, 4 times, and Mike wasn't ready when I got there. You know what? But Jessica looks ready. She's ready. So what happens is that opportunity then comes right around. And it says, and it comes around, but it doesn't come inside your house this time. It slows down in front of your crib, by your desk, right underneath your nose. And opportunity is looking at you and making its own assessment as to whether or not you're ready. But the truth of the matter is that you don't wasted so much time this year on things that just don't matter. That opportunity went and's like, he ain't ready. She's not ready. She's sure as hell not ready. And then opportunity, you know what it does? Opportunity makes a decision. Opportunity makes a decision. Opportunity makes a decision because opportunity has now looked over to the left and the right and says, hey, she wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. Let me just move on. And before we know it, opportunity has moved to the person next to you. Moved to the person to the left and the right. Moved to the other city. Gone to a new place. It is one of the key reasons in which you and I can say to ourselves, oh, it's my own fault. We miss opportunities not because we weren't in the right place at the right time. It's because we allowed fear to win and we allowed ourselves to settle and to tolerate. It's a very simple formula. We allowed ourselves to operate in a place of weakness and opportunity. You were hoping the opportunity would knock again, but opportunity gets tired of knocking. So when it rolls on through in the vehicle that is sent to you, it looks over. I cannot tell you how many people in the last 12 months I have passed up or passed by and looked to see if they were ready for an opportunity that we have here at DTDT. Look to see if they were ready for an opportunity to get some of my time. Look for an opportunity to see if they were ready for me to make the connection for them, to give them something. But the truth of the matter is that they were not ready. If you're not ready, opportunity will always pass you by, because it doesn't have time to waste. Opportunity is looking to make something happen. It wants the vessel that it takes a hold of or decides to plant a seed in. It wants the vessel to give birth to it, to make the thing happen, to connect the dots. You building an empire and you telling your story is so much bigger than just you making more money and you changing some things in your life. It is so much more. It is a sea of you impacting and getting to the people that need you, and you need the dollars to get to them. You need the strength inside, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. You know how many people I carry with me to sleep every single night? There are tens of thousands of people that have some quote on their wall or pictures of me or DTDT pledge or something that is guiding them to their next step. I don't have time to not be ready. One of the most overlooked areas is us and the time that we are wasting. But Tiffany, I just don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. I'm so busy. You're not busier than me. Tiffany, you just don't understand. No, I do understand. You waste times. My statement to you is stop wasting time. Stop wasting time on people, things, and that don't matter. On purpose, what I decided to do is I wanted to be an example to what I'm teaching. One of the most overlooked areas and overlooked times and overlooked spaces in which we just waste time is in what we wear. I want to show you how simple this is. This is not even about people. I want to show you how much you're overthinking things and how much you're allowing this and indecisiveness and being all over the place to be the trip to you getting to your next level. Because the truth of the matter is that once I tell someone once I sit in a seat once, I literally look over. If I look back and the person's not ready, I, Tiffany Largie, always move on. And I almost never circle back to that person. Period. If I talked to you last year and you're in the same place this year, I'm not going to give you an opportunity. Because it's going to take so much for me to drag you here when there are tens of people who are just willing to be ready. Not that they're perfect, but they're willing to be present. They're willing to be ready. Why aren't you willing to be ready? Sometimes people hear me and they think that it's a matter of, oh, well, if I stop with all the people and the different things that I'm doing. No, I just want to make it simple. Time. We all have 24 hours in the day. What you choose to do with it is what you choose to do with it. But you can't make the choice and then be pissed off afterwards about the choice that you done made. You decided to scroll on Facebook. You decided to like 1,600 people's posts. You decided to comment on drama. You decided to follow TMZ. You decided to do the things that don't matter. You decided. You are the one playing Candy Crush. You are the one spending 45 minutes on Words with Friends, but you're also saying, I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough friends, or I haven't made or become the person that I want to be. But how can you become the person that you want to be and you're not spending no real time with the things that you need to do in order to become that person? That equation will never make any sense. You cannot take a butter knife to the flipping fight. You cannot. You are not going to win with a butter fight, and then it's not going to happen. It's just not happening. I want to show you that it's not even about big things. I want to get down to little tiny granular things. How much time do you spend deciding what to wear in the morning? How much time do you spend deciding what to wear? If you allowed yourself to operate inside of brand If you made brand part of your formula, and if you don't know what that means, and you're like, Tiffany, I'm lost when you say that, I'm gonna give you access to either an application or to join us inside of Strong or to join us somewhere. Reach out to us, stalk us. Because for me, I was thinking last night, I was remembering how I got to my first 6 figures and then my first multiple 7 figures. And I wrote down a couple of the things because I wanted to share them with you on day 2. What are some of the things that I use? What are some of the simple tactical principles? Because I use the same principles then as I do today. And success leaves clues. And if you haven't gotten to 7 figures yet, if you haven't gotten to multiple 7 figures yet, then I have something to teach you. And it's not because I am the best. It is 1,000% because I have already cried. I have already hurt myself. I have already bled on all the ways that don't work so that I could get to what does work. Me sharing them with you just gives you an easier path because no one shared it with me. I had to hurt a lot in order to get there. Getting to multiple 6 figures, getting to enough of a point in your life where you can just make enough money where it's not always, or you're not always hand to mouth, as my parents would say, hand to mouth. How much time do you spend on things, on trying to figure out what to wear in the morning? On my way to 6 figures, I eliminated the 14 minutes that it took me to assemble outfits and figure out which one worked, and does that work with that jewelry, and does that jewelry complement this lipstick, because I want to look my best every day. I got out of that game. I literally 100% just focused in on the one outfit where I look dope AF, and then I took that thing to the streets. I had me Payless heels. Anybody remember Payless? Mm-hmm. Wonderful Payless. Hashtag Payless. Listen, I am a Payless fan. I bought so many of the same shoe. They were backless sandals that were about 2 inches off the ground, and I bought 3 pairs at once. Because the entire year, I only wore those heels when I was going to work to go make money. And then I made myself a self-made uniform. I had a pencil skirt that I got at JCPenney, long live JCPenney. And then I got a black shirt that I had embroidered at a local place for like $30 with my logo that I had. And I put that thing on. I'm gonna tell you, I look so good. It was like sad. Like I looked so good in the streets in that one outfit. So then I was like, well, why am I gonna change this outfit? That don't make no damn sense. I'm just gonna wear this outfit every single day because I look good as hell in this thing. And I am at work. It's called a uniform. Spending all that time, 14 minutes a day. You think, well, Tiffany, that's not that big of a deal on a scale of 24 hours, but you're the same one messing around saying that you don't have enough time. 14 minutes a day times 5 days is how much? That's an hour of your time. You know what I can do in an hour? You know how much money I can make in an hour? You know how many people I can help in an hour? You know how many hugs I can give to my children in an hour? You know how many high fives and laughter I can share with my team in an hour? You're bugging. An hour a week, 4 hours a month, that is the difference between me and that. I don't waste time. 1 hour a week, 4 hours a month, 4 hours a month, multiply that times 12. That's a whole week that you've lost in 1 year by simply walking around saying, well, what do I wear today? I want to look unique. I want to be different. I want to stand out. I want to wear something that will get me noticed. Man, if you wore that thing and it got you noticed, wear that thing every day. Well, Tiffany, you can't do that. Says who? I got to 7 figures doing that. And people still ask for my number. And I still look good in all the streets. You don't have to change it up. So I wore this outfit every single day and I looked amazing. Every once in a while I got fancy and I was like, okay, we're gonna put on shaded lip gloss. We're gonna put on clear lip gloss. Then I was like, we're gonna put eyeliner on with lip gloss. And then after that, I was like, we won't wear the small hoop earrings, we'll wear the big hoop earrings. And then I only had 3 or 4 options laid out on my counter. And if you walk to my counter right now, you're gonna see the same thing. And that way I'm not choosing. I literally grab and go. On the weekends, when I'm going to a dinner, we've paid $1,000 for a ticket, I need to go to a gala. Sure, I can spend those times when I'm having fun, when I'm doing something with someone that I love. I can surely go and spend some time being creative. But if you look at some of the biggest and best minds that are running huge Fortune 500 companies, they don't change the game. Steve Jobs is one of the people that I reference often. I am a Steve Jobs fan because I'm an Apple fan. It's a very simple equation. This philosophy of, do I really truly need to wear 35 different things? I think he proved it best. He wore the same thing all the time. And if time is your biggest enemy right now, then that is 1,000% where you should be spending your time, getting it back from areas that don't matter. Like, what do I wear? The truth of the matter is that yesterday, I thought to myself wholeheartedly as I was going to sleep, ending my day, not about how do I make things faster or such and such. I was like, people just waste so much time. I can't tell you how many awesome people reached out to me like, Tiffany, you said that I should do this and this. You said that I should spend an hour and a half a day on marketing, but I don't have time for that. And my response was, but you're not busier than me. I spend an hour and a half responding to people. I respond to hundreds of people every single day myself with my phone. Myself. If I can find the time to do it, you can find the time to do it too, especially if you say that you're hungry. Especially if you're sitting in these streets saying, man, I really need to make more, or I want to buy a car, I really want to buy a house, or I really need to make this thing happen for my daughter. I got to put my kid through school. I'm putting a kid through college right now. I'm in this phase. My daughter has added a brand new level of expenses, and I'm like, great, that's just awesome. But the truth of the matter is that if I want to have this thing happen, then I have to be the owner of paving the way for it to happen. I can't sit around making excuses. And if I'm telling you right now the formula, the question is that whether or not you're going to wake up tomorrow morning and do it. Make yourself a uniform. This sounds so simple, but I'm telling you, you take this principle and you apply this principle and this concept to the other areas of your life. How much time do you waste on what should I eat in the morning? Why are you wondering what you should eat in the morning? Don't make it a variable. Eat the same thing. But Tiffany, I like variety, but that's your problem. You like variety and you're broke. You like variety, but Tiffany, you don't have to have anything. What you have to have is your bills paid. And what you have to have is your head together. And what you have to have is not having to rely on everybody else for all your answers. And what you have to have is your confidence and your mental game intact. And what you have to have is your boat build when water is filling up underneath you. I cannot tell you how many times in the last 24 months water has filled up underneath me. Water is filling up underneath me. I got to be the one to build my own boat. Because if not, I'm going to sink because no one is coming to save you. Right now in the chat, I want you to remember this. I don't want you to ever forget these words. What should I wear and what should I eat? I eat the same thing every morning, Monday through Friday. If I eat, I either remove something or I add something every morning. And it's like this. So that way I don't think about it. I don't need the variety. Get comfortable with the boring. You want to make more money this year? You really want this empire thing? You really want to build something that will last? Get comfortable with the boring. "15 minutes in the morning for me to make myself some eggs and some bacon and to grab some coffee, or to stand there and go 7 minutes of, well, what should I eat this morning? Well, I kind of feel like I should eat such and such and such, but if I eat such and such and such, it'll be really good this morning, such and such and such. Do the math with me. 7 minutes in the morning, just standing there deciding. I'm 49 minutes. I'm almost an hour in for the week again. Because it's 7 days a week, because we have to eat 7 days a week. So now I'm an hour in again. That's 2 weeks out of your year that you have lost and you will not get back. You have the time, you're just not spending it correctly. You could write a book in 2 weeks. You could build an entire business in 2 weeks. You could lay out a quarter's worth of marketing in 2 weeks. You could make 100 offers in 2 weeks. You could make 100 videos. You could record 100 videos in 2 weeks. You could cuss a lot of people in 2 weeks because a lot of people need cussing. You could go to church 4 times in 2 weeks. You know how much you could do in 2 weeks? You could take the vacation. You could go get therapy. You could go see your children you're not talking to. You can go visit your grandchildren. You could go find you best friends. You could go lay on the beach for 2. You understand what you could do with 2 weeks? I could think of literally 1,000 dope things to do with 2 extra weeks. You have enough time. You're just not using it. You have enough time because God gave us both the same amount. It's what do you do with that time? I don't have a lot of variables in starting my day because in order to build an empire, especially when I'm doubled down, and this is a year for me where I'm doubled down, I specifically 100%, I made a decision to wear the exact same thing again today because I wanted to prove a point. What did I change? Anyone remember what I changed? What did I change? I looked good as hell yesterday. Why would I need to change this thing again today? I look so good. Listen, I almost stood on the corner when I left the studio. I was like, you know what? Make a little bit more money in these streets. I'm from Miami. You guys get it together. Relax. You'll be all right. The truth of the matter is I looked so good yesterday. Why the hell do I need to change today? The only reason why it would make sense for me to change is because you were insecure about how I look, but I thought I looked great. Which means the only thing I need to do is bring the same thing back to the table. Oh, but Tiffany, who cares what people think? Who cares what people think? I could care less. You know where I live. You know how much laughter I had in the last 24 hours in the midst of not feeling 100%? You're crazy. I could care less about what other people think. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant what people think. I purposely wore the same thing, and then I said, you know what? I'm gonna look the same thing because I'm gonna look great today. And I'm. You know what I did? I spent the time. I brushed my hair, and I brushed my teeth. Those are the variables. I put on something different. I removed an item. I have created a new look. You really, Tiffany, but that bothers me. It makes me feel crazy. Does it really make you feel crazy? I think being broke makes you feel crazy. Being broke makes you feel crazy. Not having options makes you feel crazy. Having to ask and beg people for help makes you feel crazy. Having a bank account that is overdrafted makes you feel crazy. You're bugging. Well, Tiffany, I just can't look the such as. Why the hell not? I made 7 figures doing it. Clearly, there's a strategy here. And I look good as hell today, too. I looked in the mirror today. I was like, well, literally almost stood outside before we got started because I was like, someone needs to see me. Don't worry about what other people think. Guard your time like your life depends on it because it does. Guard your time like your life depends on it because it does. No one can give it back. You cannot make more of it, and you cannot buy more of it. Guard your time like your life depends on it. Guard your life like your life depends on it. This is the epitome of getting strong. This is the backbone of getting and becoming strong. Yesterday, a whole handful of people said to me, oh, but Tiffany, I really I need to work on my marketing and sales. And my response was, and I feel confident in saying that all of our team, especially Coach Ryan, was like, they don't need to work on their marketing and sales. They don't have marketing and sales to work on. They need to work on themselves. They need to get strong. They need to get stronger. Oh, but you don't understand the abuse that I've suffered. You don't understand the abuse I've suffered. Oh, but Tiffany, you don't know what it's like. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, but Tiffany, you've never been in this. I have. Almost 20 years ago, I was putting my kids to bed hungry. Putting them to bed hungry. You were not more angry and pissed off and frustrated than I was. My parents come from a third world country. There is no way, there is zero chance that you're going to tell me something that I have not already lived. No, I did not find myself in the right place. No, I did not in any capacity. Did I invent a product? Did I get lucky? Did I have someone give me a lucky break? Did I have friends who helped me out? Absolutely not. I used to put Jada and Maya to bed hungry all the time because I didn't have enough money. I had a husband who was running the streets, who was gone for weeks at a time. And then one day he left and he never turned around and he never looked back till this day. I do not have a college education. I do not have a license or degree. I don't have any certifications. I don't have any of that stuff. I did not have a rich uncle. I did not have parents who were like, oh, sure, you can just totally, we'll pay all your bills. Absolutely not. They were trying to figure it out too. The reality is that I had a decision to make. Building an empire is so much bigger than just, I'm going to decide and I'm going to figure out this thing. No, I had to battle myself because the majority of every week I wanted to die. I hated life. I hated life so much and I was so angry with God. You ever been really angry with God, but you just piss on a regular basis? Some of you are fake angry with God because you still show up to church, you mess around, you start praying, go to the altar call. I wasn't fooling with that. I had a lot of four-letter words for God, for sure. I was the good person. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't lie and steal and cheat. I didn't do any of those things, but yet I have all this stuff that's happening to me and I have no one to help me and I feel alone and I want to die, but I love these children. I love these children. Jada and Maya were as cute as a button and they were as humble as can be. They watched me through my tears. They watched me through my fears. They watched me through my insecurities. They watched me through. And they were little and they needed. Jada had 6 surgeries before the age of 7 and Maya had 3 or 4. For the person who's like, oh, but it was easy for you. Do you know how many hospital days that is? Do you understand what I just told you? Do you hear what I just said? I'm a single mom with no help, no cousin, grandma to drop off kids to. There was no grandmother. My grandmother died. I didn't have grandparents. You know, a lot of people didn't even know that. I had my only living grandmother died when I was 13 years old. I didn't have aunts and uncles. I did not have cousins. Pookie did not show up. I had myself. There is nothing you're going to tell me where you say, well, Tiffany, you just don't understand. Like, hell, I don't. What I do understand is that there is a decision in us making excuses and succumbing and living and drinking in all of the tolerations that could ever be ever. I took to the streets and I knocked on doors, 50 doors a day. Anywhere from 44 to about 51 doors every single day, Monday through Friday. I didn't have time to figure out what I was going to wear. I just knew I needed to look good to walk into the doors that I was knocking into. So my Payless shoes, my pencil skirt from my black pencil skirt from JCPenney, and my self-made black logoed shirt that I had embroidered, and my $26 business cards from Office Depot was all I did. I had my own gig and I took to the streets with my own business card that I made. I didn't have a VA. There was no such thing. You couldn't sell on the internet. And if you did, I sure as hell didn't know how to get there. You literally 100% had to knock on doors. You're bugging. You have all of the time, and now we have the resources. And now we have the resources. I didn't have that back then. Every day I went and I knocked on doors, 50 doors a day. I found a handful of people who entertained me and were willing to entertain me one step more so that I could possibly show them the products and services that I had. I had at least 2 to 4 people every day who chased me physically out of the building, and at least once a week I got the cops called on me or a security guard. And I would find a way to leave the building because there was a no soliciting sign on almost every building that I went into in Coral Gables, Florida. Fact. Coral Gables, Miami. And the reality is that me knocking on doors every day was nothing more than me hunting for my own opportunities or for opportunity to be present. So there's this idea that in order to build this empire, we can just sit back and then we're like, oh, okay, great. I am ready. I am strong. I am here right now. I am good. I am going to be ready for opportunity. I'm going to be ready for opportunity. And I'm going to be right here in my second bedroom next to the Chester drawer, ready for opportunity. You cannot be stuck by yourself, ready for opportunity, by yourself where no one can see you. That's bananas. Every single day I went and I knocked on doors. Roughly I got to about 200 doors every week. I went to 800 doors every month. I went to 800 doors to get to 6 figures. Are you willing to go to 400 doors? Are you willing to do half of what I did? Are you willing to go talk to 400 people? Are you willing to go knock on 400 virtual doors? What if I told you that if you knocked on 400 virtual doors that you would find yourself with $150,000 in 6 months from now? What if I told you that for sure you would go and you would get the things, the money, the opportunity that you need? What if I told you? What would you do then? Would you be willing to do the work? Would you be willing to do the work? In order to build an empire, you have to be willing. In order to build an empire, you have to be willing. But you can't be partially willing. That's just not how this thing goes. Not at all. You can't be partially willing at all. You have to be willing. Someone put the word willing in the chat because I really need you to understand. I need you to understand, and I need us to be on the same page. Because I don't want you to think for a second that willingness is something that's optional, part-time, partial, or in pieces. Like, I can't even begin to tell you how many people I see that say, yeah, Tiffany, hype city, but then they're actually not willing. Before I even begin to talk on or teach how do you build an empire, I want to say a couple of things. The very first step is getting strong. For those of you in Relentless or the collective, strong is an automatic. I rarely ever do this, but I have to tell you, there are so many times that I have said to myself, I don't know where I would be if I didn't focus first on getting strong. Being strong, being on the inside, being in community. There is no magic button, nor is there a magic wand. I wear this reminder every single day to remind myself of where I am. Because you would, if I had hid it behind my back, you'd take a look at me and you would say, oh, Tiffany's in great shape. She's looking good. Such and such and such. And though I'm grateful for it because I do look good. I look good. I mean, we got to face some facts. But the truth of the matter is that you look good too. And if we don't have reminders around us as to where we are going to make the wrong move. Me knowing that 90 days ago I was in the hospital and that not only was I in the hospital, but that I was a fall risk. I was in a lot of trouble. They had these alarms on my bed that if I even tried to move, the whole building would sound, because I would hurt myself if I didn't stay within the rails. Today, I want to be transparent and say that I don't know where you belong, but I do know that somewhere within DTDT that you belong within the rails. And it might be the rails of you saying, you know what, I absolutely gotta get strong. I don't know how to get physically strong, spiritually strong. I'm alone. I don't have friends. I'm alone. I don't ... And maybe that's not it. Maybe you're like, you know what, I'm strong enough, but this sales and marketing thing and figuring out how to keep this thing consistent, because I'm consistent in my tolerations. I'm also consistent in my excuses. I'm also consistent in what I am allowing to keep happen, but I'm not figuring out how to get consistent over here in this business sales marketing thing. Like, I'm really not figuring out how to do that. The truth of the matter is that I said to myself at some point, I was going to focus my energy and effort on building a community that had room for everybody. So that way there wasn't a partial way of me trying to approach and trying to win. There was only me making a decision to win and to win consistently. So I made a decision to create this thing called DTDT. We used to be called Onwards to Freedom, and I really wasn't clear, or I wasn't confident enough that we could go around the world and that we could love hard enough to make room for everybody. But what's really crazy about what we call quantifiable results in building our empire is that I had begun to watch the amazing results of people in our communities, people who I met this country or the next country, who would reach out and tell us, oh my gosh, you'll never believe what happened because I learned how to tell my story, I learned how to be strong, and I'm not alone. You'll never believe what happened because I finally launched my event or I launched a product. You'll never believe, Tiffany, what happened because I made a decision to, and I'd be like, and it would be amazing. And I would be like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. And I started to say to myself, I know that no one has mastered this. Is there a model? Is there someone out there who has mastered this? And the answer was no. So I created this world called DTDT. My statement is never going to be to you, hey, come right here, because right here is not for everybody. But I know that if you're here, if you're spending this time with me, you and we're here. Which means that maybe you're at the beginning of my path, and the right place for you is to become strong. And maybe not. Maybe you've already figured out how to hustle a couple of dollars and you're like, man, I really need to get into the collective where you can come and hang out with us. And if not now, you're like, Tiffany, I have already gotten to 6 figures. I'm at 7. Awesome, great. It doesn't change the fact that you're still here because you're managing other people's insecurities. You don't know how to scale your business correctly. And more importantly, you're still having moments where fear is winning. And so you need our help in mastering that. I'm going to start right now with strong, because strong is the basis for everything that we do and everything that we are. And typically I would never do this, but last night I said to myself, Ryan, our DTDT coaches, all of them, one of the greatest things that they do for me, with me, and around me is they keep me strong. They keep me strong. They've kept me strong in moments over these last few months where I didn't really know when I'd be able to walk or if I'd have a walker forever. And if it wasn't that, it was, will food ever taste right? Being in the midst of a community is everything. There's 3 things. I want to do some homework. So really quickly, before I ask in the chat, I'm going to keep the chat clean. Really quickly, I just want to know a couple of things. Number 1, one word to describe where you are right now. You see, I need one word to describe where you are right now. The second thing that I need from you is I need you to think through, what do I need the most? If you need community, I'm going to highly encourage you to come hang out with us in Strong. It is a community. And in this community, I show you, we show you, our team shows you how to get strong and stay strong, physically, spiritually, mentally. It is a place where you get to figure out, well, what step do I need to take and how do I get strong and what am I missing? The best part about it is that Ryan, who is my actual personal coach, is what keeps me strong in all of those ways. And then you figure out the financial part of this game. The coolest thing is that it's under $100 a month. I don't even know how else to say that. It's under $100 a month. The second thing I'm going to say to you is there are a handful of people who had no idea that we have a ticket for $1. The rest of today, you have 20 minutes left in this preview portion of what we call DTDT Live. And if you are catching this on the replay, somewhere here is an opportunity for you to come and hang out with us at one of our experiences, whether it's night school or story intensive, or just to fly into Phoenix, Arizona to spend time right now inside of our space. But what I'm going to say to you is this. To spend the entire day with us is $1. There are some people who have no idea that it's $1. And they're like, well, I can't do the VIP, but you can do the $1. I promise that you can do the $1. VIP is at $47. But everybody should be joining me in strong. What I've decided this year is that I'm going to be hunkered down inside of our communities. If you've ever wanted to figure out how to, like, if you've ever said to yourself, man, I'd love to work with a coach. I'd love to work with such and such. I haven't coached in a program in years. And the only place that I do coach is in our Relentless Mastermind. And those people make more than $500,000. That is the criteria to get into a mastermind where I coach right now. And they're going to be teaching on one of the days with me this week, which I'm so excited. They're amazing. But between over $500,000 and over $1 million, you're going to get to learn from people who are building a business and who have built it and who coach with me privately. They're brilliant, and I can't wait. But what I want to say is this. I've made a decision this year because of me being in the hospital and being sick. I'm going to take a new approach, a totally approach that is not happening right now in the world. The pandemic left us desensitized. We had endless virtual events. We had endless people just talking all types of BS on social media. We had people just doing a lot of hoopla. And I'm like, I just want to go back to the basics. Anybody just wanted to feel again and go back to the basics? I wanted to go back to the basics. And when I was laying in my hospital bed and I was there for a hot minute, and then when I came home and I lived in my recliner for a whole month, they actually bought me a new recliner because I didn't even own one before that. I was living in this recliner and all I kept thinking to myself was, I want to go back to the basics. I want old school in front of me. I want to feel people again. I want to feel them here. I don't want to be so disconnected, and I won't settle for that. I'm not going to settle for that. I know that that's everybody else's version, but I'm not going to settle for that. What I've decided to do is I've decided to spend my time inside of our communities. 8 to 5 during this week, I'm going to be spending my time inside of, during this year, I'm going to be spending our time inside of the communities. I'm going to be the one coaching. I'm going to be the one sharing. I'm going to be the one. So really quickly, if you do not have my phone number, let me give you a phone number. So my cell, where you can text me. You can text me, but more importantly, you can get into the community, a private place where I send out messages, and I am teaching in places that you won't have access to online or on the internet. Literally, it's me like this. My number is 305-677-8178. Sometimes there's so much going on that I don't get to respond at the time that you send it, but I do see every message. 305-677-8178. First bit is housekeeping. The second thing I'm going to say. Your concierge, 480-256-8022. Okay, so I'm going to be teaching and talking about I'm going to be talking about tools. I'm going to be talking about doing some heavy lifting. It's coming in just a few minutes, not yet. Concierge 480-256-8022. 22. 22. 22. 22. Okay. Next, Ryan. If you want to talk to Ryan, I talked to Ryan last night. Ryan said he's willing to talk to a few more people. Not today, but this upcoming week. His number is 480-269-1355. You're never going to see another company that is making themselves this accessible. You're never going to see a person. It is inside of the Bustelo tin. What am I drinking? I'm drinking tea. But I had tea with no sugar. And I was like, what is happening? I didn't die. I'm alive. Let me have the sugar. And it's inside. I put it in a special place in the Bustelo thing in a Trader Joe's bag. That is probably in my green room. Sorry, everybody. It is the best. Oh, that's the kind of belly laugh that you need. That's gonna change everything. Oh, my body feels as if she. Okay, so here's what's great. This is the best. This is the best. Money cannot pay for this. This is the best. This is the best. Oh, I love this. So good. So it is, you will never find, you're not going to find another company that gives you that kind of access to the people who are there. And in a world where I've watched endless programs simply curate and say, and let you know that you have 2 calls and 1 call, and you have 1 moment, you have 1 thing, and you have, and such and such and such. I say to you, no, that doesn't happen. I am over that. We're out of that game. If you want to grow this year, come be with DTDT. If you have said to yourself, you know what, I'm sick and tired of the programs, and sick and tired of people just taking my payment. I'm sick and tired of people just taking money from me and not caring. I'm just sick and tired of those things. I'm going to say to you, come be with DTDT. Regardless of where it is, regardless of what place it is, this is a place for you to be. Yes, this is a place for you to be. Let's go back to the basics. One suggestion. So Fred has a suggestion. Let's read Fred's suggestion. For us in the education community, when you say, let's go back to the basics, it reminds us of a horrible way in schools that means no thinking, creativity. No, I'm talking about the basics. No, we do go back to the basics, and I got to keep my word, because that's exactly what it is. In human connection, where I didn't need to make an appointment with Matt to talk to him about how he's doing, where I could knock on someone's door. Yesterday, I actually love the fact that Matt and Anna knocked on my door at my house, and there was no knowledge that they were there. I was not expecting them at a specific time, and I was happy about that. Back to the basics is 100% about you being simple, connecting with people without all of the pieces, not having to build fancy things or fancy funnels. The truth of the matter is that you already know how to win. You know how to love people. You know how to connect with people. You know how to talk to friends. You know how to do the things. You know how to do them. So if you know how to do them, let's do that. So yes, when I said to the world, guess what? We're going to talk to people one by one. It sounded crazy, but I believe in it and it works. When I said to people, we're going to go back to live events. I know, I get it. We could reach the whole world if we're virtual. Okay, great. We'll have virtual events. We have night school, which I love like crazy. We'll keep center stage. But trust me when I say I cannot hug people through a computer. Pandemic or no pandemic. I gotta hug people through a computer. Anybody else feel like that? I cannot hug people through a computer. Am I the only one? I don't want to virtual meet you. I don't want to virtually become your friend without really becoming your friend. Not interested in that in the rest of this life that I get to live. No. Same thing, like I don't want a virtual team. No, I'm not going to teach people to build a total virtual team. We have a physical brick and mortar office. How many of my peers have a real physical brick and mortar office where their employees walk in every morning? Where the team walks in every morning? I don't want that. I want to talk to people and connect. So I'm going to build a company where we talk to people and we connect. Is there anybody that wants to join me in Strong really quickly? I think there is a typo on the page and the typo says that the price is $99 and it's supposed to be. But if you click the button is going to tell you that it's only $57 and I'm going to leave it just like that. You know what Ryan said? Ryan said last night, he said that he wants to have a Strong only event. Like Fit Drip. You remember we talked about it? Like Fit Drip. Strong only event where it's all about wellness and connecting and not holding hands and singing Kumbaya. But I'm like, how dope would it be to have a bonfire? I know, I'm so excited about it. It'd be so different. Human touch. So let me stop here. Before I go any further and start talking about tools, I'm going to bring out a board. I'm going to talk about tools. It's $57 if you click the button. It's a total typo and it's your win. We're literally just opening it up. And we're only going to let a certain amount of people inside for now. Once we hit our goal this week, I set a goal this morning. That's how it came to be. Once we hit our goal this week, we're done. We're out the game. Same thing for the collective. There's a handful of you who are running a bigger business. And I say bigger business, you're somewhere between, I would say $1,000 and $4,000, $3,000 a month. And you need to get to your next level. You should come and hang out with me in collective. I'm going to be the coach. It starts at $25K to coach with me or to even get access. I want to talk to you about that in the event. I'm not going to talk about that now, but what I do want to talk about now is this. Did you get the video that I sent out? Anyone get the video that I sent to you about Anna this morning? Anna was working on inventory. And so I cornered her. I knew that she was in the office because we're in the studio, and I knew that she was there. And so I creeped up on her. And I don't know if you heard me, but I was like, we're gonna sneak up on Anna and see if we can get her to give us a discount on a shirt. Because the other day in a meeting, she was like, no more discounts on shirts. We don't need to do that. Such and such and such and such. And I was like, what are you talking about? And so today, so many people asked me for a shirt, and then they asked Ryan, how do they get shirts? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna find. So Anna said to me, fine. So this is this is the OG shirt. Whoops, sorry. This is the OG shirt. This is what started it all. Is anyone someone asked if they could take a picture. You could totally take all the pictures you want and screenshots and share it. You should be, because we're tracking. And the person who shares and connects and such the most is gonna get all types of things. There's like 2 or 3 spots for that. Anyhow. So she said that we can have this. Let me ask her if there's a link. I think she has a link. She has a special link that she said is just for today. And she said that we can, and she's going to ship them. Yes. And then the person gets, does anybody else have this? If you do have this bracelet, can you post it for me? I know I shouldn't be doing this right here, but I want to. They get this bracelet. It's a crazy thing. I think she's taking their like half off or something. Everybody should have this shirt. One of our community members, I don't think she's here, but her name is Lanisha Adams. On her birthday, while I was in the hospital, she sent me a note and she was like, hey, we were in the hospital at the same time, but she's like, today is my birthday and I want you to see the one shirt that I want to wear as I'm wearing my shirt. And it was her DTDT. It is the best reminder. If someone says, what does it say? It says, do the damn thing. It's my bracelet that I wear every day. It's my favorite jewelry. It's the favorite thing that I own. It is like the best. Favorite thing that I own is the best. I have flung it over there. But, so inside of the chat, from what I understand, is a link. And I don't know what she's made it, but there's like, it's crazy. It's either like free shipping or whatever it is. Everybody gets a bracelet. Everybody gets a couple of things for me. And you're going to get a handwritten note from me. So that's one of, I'm going to handwrite and make sure, because she's going to be shipping them from the office, and which is a little different. But it's first come, first serve. I think there's only 20 of these shirts. So there's only 20 of these shirts. If you haven't given someone a gift, a present, or something like that, it's a great thing to do. Okay, here we go. So I'll send it out I'll try my best to send it out in text. All right. Let me talk about tools real quick. Tools. All right, here we go. Here we go. And if you joined us in Strong, can you send me, I got it. Can you send me a text and just let me know that you're in Strong? I want to know. Send me a text. Ryan is our coach there, and he's amazing. And I want to make sure that I do this right. Okay. So we need tools. At a moment, I'm going to take you through our tool page. And I want you to think to yourself that this is your to build an empire, you need these few things, okay? So to build an empire, you need, I want it to be like that. I want you to think of it as this. So you need a platform to stand on. The stronger your platform, the easier it is for you to do all the things. So the first part of your platform is a voice. Okay, if you're digital, which means you're having your voice in small pieces, like a podcast or a radio show, those things are powerful. By no means am I going to tell you that they're not. They're super powerful. But what I know for sure is that here you need to make it stronger, you need some form of an event. In the collective, I'm going to help each and every person build events. Okay? Build events. And then I want you to think that I can't draw, so this is why this is beginning. I have it in my head, just stay with me, because this is supposed to be a stage, but it doesn't quite look like a stage. But I want to draw lights up here. So, here we go. Okay, so this is a light. Is this what a light looks like? Listen, stop it. Stop it. This is what a light looks like. These are lights. These are lights. Listen, these are these are lights. These are lights. Doggone it. Listen, okay, so this is the lights for the stage. This is the light for the stage. And the lights that shine, right, is your consistent solo voice. That's what makes you the expert. This is a person. Hi, I am the expert. Okay, this is really happening right now. Okay, I am the expert. Now stay with me, because the stronger you make your platform, the easier it is for people. Now, I want to draw one more thing, but now I'm afraid, because I was going to do this to show the eyes. The eyes. Everybody know the emoji eyes where they're looking sideways? But I was like, if I draw that, it's going to look like something else. This is very awkward. But here's what I want you, yes, stay with me. Yes, I know. So the expert gets to charge more money for their products and services. The expert charges more money for their products and services. This is super important. The expert charges more money for their products and services. Without this stage here, you can charge money for your products and services, but with this alone, you charge this kind of money. With a stage, and I'm talking about an event, you charge this kind of money. You can't see it. You can almost see this. You could see the majority of it. Okay, does this concept make sense? I'm not here. You want her to look better? We're going to put here. Okay, and then we're going to have John. That's John. And here you have my expert drawing. Now, you can't see the board with brightness. You're good. Now, here's what's important, though. Your voice, aka your story, is what is used to position yourself. This is positioning. The better you're positioned online, the more money you can make. The more you're positioned offline, the more money you can make. An event allows you to elevate yourself to the expert status. The truth of the matter is that you have the ability to decide how big of a stage this is, how consistent of a stage this is, how visible of a stage this is. If in your year you just do, you focus on doing just one, type of an event, and you do it one time, but you spend all of your time getting to that event, talking about the event, then you position yourself in your industry for the year. Now, sometimes we ask ourselves, well, Tiffany, well, how do I do all these things? There's no way that I can talk about an event, fulfill for customers and services, fulfill in our products and services without help. Yes, you can get help and you can hire. But the foundation of building your empire, it lives in this one word: tools. For one reason or the other, in my life and in my business, tools are the answer. Tools are your friends. But not just one tool, a few tools. Really quickly in the chat, I'm going to give you access to the DTDT tools page. This is the tool list where you get to see the exact list of tools that we use. I have to let you know, legally, some of those are affiliate links, which means we make enough money to buy Matt cold coffee. You see, you try to make me say the words that I'm trying to get away from. Okay, let me correct myself on camera. We make enough money to buy Matt iced coffee. Don't make me say it because you want it to be ice cold coffee. That's what you were thinking of. Second, not all of them are, but tools are important. So really quickly, I can show the tools. Okay, great. So let me move this aside. Thank you. Okay, let me walk you through tools, because tools are super important. They're everything. Tools are everything. Now, we're gonna drop this tool list in the chat. You should already see it. Let me just work my way through this, because what we've done is we've broken them down by the tools and based on the function that they're gonna have for you, okay? So the number one tool that you should be seeing on your screen, I'm not gonna tell you exactly how to use each tool because I don't have enough time for that here, but what I will do is during the actual event, I'm gonna break open one or two tools, show you how to use them, and give you an idea for how do you leverage tools to help you move further. But I wanted to show you what's available to you. This is one of the resources for you inside of our community, and it's completely complimentary. So these are our vetted tools. These tools you want to use for story distribution, and that's telling your story online creatively and tracking what you're doing online. Next section. Lead gen. So here are all my favorite tools for lead gen, for marketing online, but more importantly, when it comes to forms, autoresponders, there's one that is not here that I will show during the day. And I have, and this is one of the tools that we use to run some of our CRM, the CRM, customer relationship manager part of our business. Kajabi, Typeform, Boomerang, which is one of the most overlooked free tools ever. You get up to 10 a month with this free trial, and you don't ever have to pay for it. We have never paid for it, but what it allows you to do in simplicity is it allows you to work at night or on the weekend, and you get to schedule the email for in the morning. All right, let me come down. Collect, tracking monies, processing payroll. This is all things dollars. So Stripe, Bench, PayPal, QuickBooks, and Gusto. All things dollars and bench accounting. Let me keep going. If you're inside of the nation, if you're ever inside of the community room where you want to ask about a specific tool, please go ahead and tag us, and then we can answer that question for you. All right, Operations Foundation. These are some of my favorite. There's like one tool that's missing from here that I go, oh, I think I like that tool a lot too, and it has to do with social media scheduling. But this is a great tool when it comes to scheduling your social media. The only thing I'm going to say about it is that you have to remember that Facebook is like they like their own. So they like their own things, they like their own tools, and they have built-in schedulers for their platform. So in that instance, it can get a little bit tricky where Facebook's like, oh, well, if you're going to schedule tools, and I don't want to show your stuff to other people unless you're paying for it. So that's the only thing that I would keep in mind. This is how we sign contracts. This is how we manage our leads like a boss. Everybody should have this. No brainer. This is how you get cash back. I think we've gotten back $1,600. Shopify. I never talk about Shopify, but Shopify is imperative if you have products. It is not a good idea for me. My recommendation for this avatar is never going to be to take that into WordPress. And we can, I think, in Canva, is this the end of the tool list? No. Okay, great. Yay. So easy texting, slide broadcast, just call, Shopify, Circle, Kajabi, and Proof. Okay, so this is how, let me go up just one moment. These are advanced tools. My recommendation to you is to ask yourself before you go and click, and you just ask yourself, well, what would I use the tool for? And how will this tool impact me? And what is it that I'm looking for? Because if you ask that question, then it's easier for us to give you the right answer. All right, let me come down. Live streaming and communication and webinars. These are all of the tools that we use. Of this, let me see. So it's probably going to be this. Now, the way that people use this tool is to add on to Zoom so that it records for you, records what's happening. I will tell you, we don't allow for that inside of our room. So that's not how I use it at all. We use this as our transcription. So I used to recommend rev.com all the time, and rev.com is a great tool. It is a fantastic tool, and it has a great recorder that you can use on your phone. But I really truly, Otter is a gangster when it comes to uploading massive files, small files, and it being able to translate it and give it back. And the way it works is it doesn't really charge you per minute. What it does is it's charging you, it gives you an allotted amount of minutes for the month. And so it's encouraging you to drill down and use all your minutes. I find it way more cost effective. I also think it's a lot easier. And more importantly, it makes me feel stronger in its outcome. Okay. Let me just highlight what Vimeo is. So Vimeo seems like you open and you're like, oh, do I really need this? I already have YouTube, and YouTube is fantastic. But the problem with YouTube is that YouTube takes you into the internet, to the World Wide Web. And your content is usable, but when you use it to embed it in platforms or teachings or trainings or things like that, it suggests too many other options to the people who you're trying to connect to versus just play the thing that I want to play on my page. Just play the thing that I want to play in such and such and such. Sometimes that works where you want it to play like that, but there's other times where you're like, no, I don't want you to suggest Sally baking cookies. I really truly want you to just be focused on sending them my stuff. So this is where Vimeo comes in. We have a Vimeo account, and I would say a third of our archived, short-lived, or not short-lived, but that we need to use them within a reach of time that's coming up. This is where we place them. All right. So whoa, 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 and more whoa. Here we go. We have gone through, dun, dun, dun. We've gone through something awesome. We have taken the time to ask ourselves some important questions. Okay, great. Well, what the heck am I building? What is this empire? For the person who says, hey, I really need to come and join you guys. I am not in the event. You can join us for $1. You can join us for $1. You can join us for $1. For the person who wants help in structuring their tools, you're like, Tiffany, I have some of these tools, but I don't know how to use them. This year in the collective, and I say this year, this month, I'm going to literally give every single collective member, making sure that they have my playlist of the 10 tools in order of what to use and how to use them. And more importantly, the way we're doing it now is that they're actually going to be on a call with me where I'm going to say, great, you need this tool, you don't need that tool. Stop using that tool. Use this one in this way. So that way they build a system and they have a foundation underneath them that gives them confidence. One of the coolest things the other day was listening to Kathleen Panning, who said she was talking about a product that she's launched, that she's selling. And she followed our training process that we just finished training a couple weeks ago. And I love, Kathleen, you don't know, but I've been talking about you for the last 48 hours because I'm so excited. I was in love with your numbers, but I was in love with the fact that you came to this private room and you're like, hey, these are my numbers. Here's my open rate, my click rate, my blah, 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 blah. But then you said this was the most growth that I've had in any product that I've ever launched, including your own. And you were like, this, I am so excited. We are so excited for you. We're stupid excited for you. We have talked about it so many times because we know the impact, sure, of what it does for you financially, but we understand also what it did for you here, what it did for you here. There's nothing more exciting for me than hearing that you tackled or you used a strategy and you won. But really and truly just watching you win at that level is like, hip, hip, hoo, mother flipping, hooray. All right, so with that, I'm gonna say dun, 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 dun. So inside of the chat is the opportunity for you to either join us in VIP or you can join us at $1. No problem. I'm going to be teaching the rest of today. If you're finding this on replay, I say come stalk us. DTDTnation.com. That is our new home, which we'll be revealing soon. And more importantly, I know for a fact that wherever it is that you are saying to yourself, man, I gotta grow, I gotta get to the next level, I need more, and I need help either telling my story, I need someone to tell the story for me, or more importantly, I just don't know where to start. We're for sure the people to help you. And our team is ready for you. We stay ready for you. I'm honored that I've had the luxury of being here with you this morning. I have had so much fun in sharing my heart with yours, and I cannot wait to see and watch you build something that will last. Now, let me say this. You have a 15-minute break for those of you who are headed to the event. You're headed to your email. You're looking for a link. Go check out your dashboard. Go get whiskey. Go get tea. Go get coffee. Take a breath. You want to be right on time. You want to get into the room because I'm going to be teaching. We got all types of stuff to look at today. We are building an empire. We're building an empire. So head to your emails, and I want you to take the time to take a full break. I'll see you right at 45 after the hour. I can't wait to see you soon. Bye-bye.
I'm a really big hitter, big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step.